Hi, we're going to be reading Chapter 1, Part 2 of The One and Only Bob. We're starting at Boss. My mom wasn't much for names. She had a lot of letters, and I guess she'd run out of ideas. My brother, first, was Natch, the firstborn. Runt, my youngest bro, was the last. Dot had a little spot on her back, and Yip was always complaining. I was rowdy, and goes without saying, and that left my oldest sister. We all called her Boss. Boss was small but mean, with a distinctive, sharp-sounding bark. She could outmaneuver any of us to the best spot for dining. I admired her grit, even if she did get on my nerves. When we got a bit older, less blind, more cocky, I found her off occasionally, but mostly Boss won. Oh, she was fearless, that pup. The truck, oh man, the truck happened without warning. They threw us all in a box, left my mom behind. I can still hear her frantic howls. I landed in a muddy ditch. It was a cloudy night, nearly freezing, and even the moon had abandoned me. Oh, and the smells. Everything was so wild and unknown, and animals with big jaws and bigger appetites, birds that swooped in to kill, death and life all mixed up together. I searched for my siblings until the truth became clear. I was utterly alone. The next morning, I began my slow journey, moving through the tall, wet grass, my limbs stiff from the cold. Now and then I'd drink from a mud puddle or gnaw on some grass, but evening I was wobbly with hunger and thirst, and I followed the highway. Every time a four-wheeled creature roared, I froze in fear, and yet this is what slays me. I knew that cars meant humans, and humans meant the possibility of living just as much as they meant the possibility of dying. The owl. Darkness had fallen when it came out of nowhere. The owl. A shadow in a shadow, and I don't make a sound, you know. Not a sound. It's quite impressive when you think about it. Just as her talons, those marvelous weapons, racked my fur, I caught my right front foot, a small hole, and stumbled. If she'd gotten hold of my body, I wouldn't even be here. But all she managed to do was grab my tail. Only time in my life I've regretted my handsome hindquarters. I was airborne, hanging upside down, dizzy and dazed, and just crazy enough to think, hey, I'm actually flying, before the terror hit full force. I caught a whiff of other animals below, and later I found out they were pocket gophers. But back then I just knew I was smelling something completely foreign. The owl must have decided the gophers would make more of a satisfying meal, so she let loose her grip and I plummeted straight to the earth. Maybe it was my puppy fat, or my soft bones, or my incredibly good fortune, but I didn't die. Didn't even break anything. I'd flown twice in my short life and lived to tell the tale. I found a small hollow at the base of a fallen tree, poked my nose in, got a swat and hiss from a grouchy raccoon, and kept going, waddling, whimpering, lights ahead, new strange smells. I kept going. I kept going. I kept going. It's amazing how much the sheer will not to die can keep you moving. Exit 18. I finally came to a small road curving off the main highway. Exit 8. Turned out to be a big billboard overhead had a picture of a terrifying animal on it. Of course, I didn't know what a billboard was, and I didn't know that that scary animal was a gorilla, let alone that he would become my dearest friend. but something told me to follow the off-ramp, and eventually I ended up at the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan.